on the farm. But today is going to be a lot different from how you have been running things. So, as usual, you are going to disperse into your different breeding houses, and you have just 20 minutes to finish all activities here this morning. The only difference is you won't be taking out your fireplaces this morning because you won't be using them. Okay? So you have 20 minutes to disperse into your different breeding houses. You bring or you delegate one person each from different breeding houses to take care of every activity because you have just 20 minutes. So you find a way to arrange yourselves, find a way to tell who is going to be doing what and doing what, so you meet your time of 20 minutes. Is it clear? Yeah. So you have 20 minutes to do everything here on the farm this morning, and your time starts now. How was it? You guys were up on your toes. It was interesting, right? It was fun for me to watch, I must tell you. Some persons are sweating for the first time. And it's cold. So how was it? Tell me. So imagine how it will be next time we remove 5 more minutes. You see, you didn't finish.
Just one book, so we have to wait for the
Okay, but you didn't finish anyway. But it's good. Good job, Jenny.
On this morning, my observation like this, especially for that, let me start with Group A. My observation in Group A is that 1, they fail to switch off the light with the heat point, electrical source, and that might increase the temperature of the room, which might not be conducive for the birds. Okay. Then I also discovered that at the entrance, the place was a little bit wet, although that also affects other groups. With that wet portion, I think it can cause bacterial infection if not taken care of. Bacterial infection known as coccidiosis, which is a deadly disease to birds. It attacks birds of different age. And with that, you have high mortality, risk of having high mortality if not taken care of. Then that is for Group A. Group B, the same thing also affects them in terms of light. But it's very important for you to make sure that the birds are in a good condition when it comes to temperature. You must give them conducive temperature. The lighting point that I refuse to put on can increase the temperature, which is not okay for the birds for now. I think for that, and the room temperature was a little bit high. So what they would have done, they would have allowed ventilation by opening the window a little. I think that is what I observed in Group B. Then Group C, one, they did keep to time. Secondly, their action, the activity then this morning, the brooding room was not encouraging. He said that, one, they pour water on the floor, which is very, very risky to the life of the birds. With that water on the floor, mixing with the litters there, can cause that bacterial disease known as coccidiosis. It's a deadly disease to birds. It attacks birds of different ages. So without taking care of that, I think the birds are prone to risk of that disease, which can cause high mortality to the birds. I think with their activity, their zeal, and their ability to work this morning, I think it's a bit recommendable. So I appreciate them for what they have done this morning.
Okay, sir. That bacterial considiosis, are the farmers aware of this bacteria?
Yes. It's a common disease to poultry. It's a common disease to poultry. It's a bacterial disease. So that's why to farmers, when you are breeding birds, you have to give them prevention treatment against that disease. If the place is well managed, the disease usually visits birds at the age of 4 to 6 weeks old of age. So before then, you give them prevention dosage to tackle the disease at the time it arrives.
Okay. You also assess them on the feeding parameters, the amount of feed that that they give to the birds in terms of the substance that is mixed in the water, the quantity of feeding and all of that. Can you tell us if what they did was right?
Yes, actually that's why I didn't measure that when I was doing the assessment. What they do in terms of feeding, the measurement of feed, they did that selectly well. And that of medicated water, they gave them the normal dosage and the normal measurement they're supposed to use this morning. So I gave them a select mark on that. They performed well.
I noticed, I heard that there was a smelling room, breeding house, Group B. Does that in any way affect?
Yes, I think I addressed that before now. I've made mention of it. Just one, they did not open up the window to allow ventilation for the odor to go out. And also for the extra that I mentioned earlier, that the place is a little bit wet. So the litters and the wood shavings combined with the water, that can generate that offensive odor. So when you experience such thing, what you need to do, you pack away the wet litters, replace it with dry wood shavings, okay? And allow in a little ventilation. That's the best way to control that.
They're asking you on your assessment today on the farmers, how they did from Group A to Group C.
Yeah, they actually did their best. We'll see that they are trying to catch up with the time, though in the process error cannot be avoided. That's why in Group C we saw that water spill on the ground, and that definitely will lead to loss of mark because if that is allowed to happen, before you know it, it will lead to bacterial infection on the bed. So even though they are trying to catch up with the time, we will not tolerate mistake on them. So we're going to deal with that.
What other observation did you observe as you went through group by group assessment?
Yeah, I noticed too that some of them are not exposing their tag. Sometimes the tags we're facing are not facing also. So, we didn't know the number of the contestants. So that too need to be done right. And in terms of the birds, we saw too that the windows were not open. That's in Group C. I discovered that there's kind of hatch holder that's not conducive even for humans. If it's not conducive for you, definitely it's not going to be conducive for the birds. So they ought to have corrected that. A simple way of doing that is to open the window, align ventilation so that the ammonia gas can escape, because that too can lead to coccidiosis on the birds. So that's another observation. They try generally, they feed the drugs, they were able to give the right quantity to the birds, so that may be an indication that they are catching up.
So you think that your effort in training them is obviously yielding results?
Yes, it is. They can do it without being supervised now, because they already know the quantity of feeds to give. When they read the instruction of the drug, they know how to calculate what is commensurate in terms of water. So they already know how to do that. So we can say they are catching up. They are making progress.
Group A,
Yes, sir.
they're a bit disappointing today. Do you know you're a bit disappointed today? You don't know.
Would like to know, sir.
You don't know. Did your instructor give you a score mark today?
Yes, he did.
What was the score mark?
He talked about the lighting point.
So your lighting point was a pass.
No. But he said since he had not emphasized on it before now, so we've been pardoned for it. But if not, every other thing.
I can't be pardoned. Or you should have done that. Does he need to emphasize it?
No, sir. I raised up a point where we actually asked about that before now, but maybe, so we actually take the responsibility to that, because prior this time, some days back, when we stopped using the coal, very consistent, we realized that because that was the only source of heat for them, we were not offing the light. So we're also surprised when he said we're supposed to turn it off.
Without a coal.
So, but from now we already know that, okay, this is it, even if there's no coal, because they're getting matured.
Do you understand that you will infect the birds with certain disease, or you told about the disease? Are you aware of the disease?
We've not been taught about that, but I personally have studied about one, which is coccidiosis.
You know the danger of
and bird flu.
You know the danger of coccidiosis. You know the danger. Do you know the danger?
Not.
You don't. Let's say you don't even know the name of whatever disease it is, but are you aware that your birds can die?
Yes, we do.
And you're aware of the hygiene or steps to preventing mortality?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What happened with your room today, your breeding room today? There's water, you know, in front of your door entrance.
There was no water, sir.
There was no water, sir.
There was no water.
Yes, sir.
So you think you did well?
We have a fair mark, but we are trusting that we'll do better. We came to learn, so we are sure that we are getting improving by the day.
Tell me about the synergy between the three of you. I realized that I was watching at some point that three of you were almost doing the same thing at the same time. Why was that so? I thought you're supposed to delegate responsibility to each person. Okay,
we were not doing the same thing at the same time at all times. Why we did the same thing at the same time was only when
one person is slow.
We had already assigned responsibilities as we walked into our brooding room. We had already cleaned the feeders, and then washed the drinkers. So what was left was to take the drinkers into the brooding room, which if one person have to do that, then we'll be a bit slow, knowing that we're working with time. So everyone had to participate with that. Now, for any other one we actually did together, it was because we have to meet up time. And we have a collective reasoning. We actually communicate with ourselves on what to do, just to meet up time.
Faith, what do you have to say?
What I have to say, based on what she said, I say that we three are not actually doing the same thing and the same time. You know, we have our different duties to do. But when we see that maybe one of us are not actually meeting up with the duty at that right time, we can still assist one another instead of standing there waiting for the person, knowing fully well that we are working with time, so that just for us to meet up with the time limit
Deborah,
given
what
to
was your
us.
responsibility today in the group?
Mine. Actually, we didn't share anything, but as we got into the breeding house, I removed the shavings from the feeders, then tried to put the drinkers in there for them to drink. Then try to help them. Also try to help them what they are doing.
So you finished up, you didn't finish in time,
We did,
We
sir.
We did.
but you complained. You complained that you had to wait for the next person to give you the broom. You
No,
didn't finish in time.
we did.
No,
The only thing was we needed more brooms so that we can be able to. So one group will not be complaining that, oh, because I was waiting for group A, or maybe
Or
because I was
group
waiting
B,
for
group
group B.
C, or
So
group
if
C.
everyone has their brooms or whatever you have for your group, you know that, okay, if you're given 20 minutes and you don't meet up 20 minutes, you are responsible for that. But if you don't have such, then the judgment may be a bit partial.
Group B,
Yes, sir.
you had a poor performance today.
So, in what particular process
And you are
did we have?
assessing.
Okay. The only complaint we had was the fact that they said our brooding room was oozing out smell, of which we went to assess, and we couldn't really place what the smell was all about. But one thing I'm going to say about it is the fact that some beds were added extra, 150 beds were added extra to our brooding room, and I feel maybe the litters were now more than the other brooding rooms. Maybe that was why we had more smell oozing out. But I really could not place the smell.
What was the extra beds that were added to other rooms, other brooding rooms?
No, I said extra beds were added to our brooding room day before yesterday and was taken away yesterday morning. So I'm thinking maybe extra droppings, like poultry droppings, were on the floor of our brooding room. That was what made it to be oozing out smell more than the other rooms.
Is that what you think too?
Yes, that's what I think.
Is that
I
what
think-
you think?
Yes, sir. I think the extra beds that were added, because the instructor said it was oozing droppings. So if it was oozing droppings more than the other rooms, then it would be as a result of the extra 150 beds that were put in and taken out the following day. But other than that, when I went inside, I could only perceive the feed and it was warm. Yes, so other than that.
Do you understand that whether it was 1,000 beds that was put in your room, that as you come in the morning, you know what to have done. You know what to have done and you didn't do it. So your excuses, you don't have excuse. Because of your excuse, some marks will be withdrawn from you. Because your excuse does not make any sense. It's something that you would have taken care of. But you're giving excuses. It is not something that is way beyond what you should do. There are things that you would do. It's very simple. You get into your room in the morning, you allow some ventilation to come in. That's simple. If you allow ventilation to come in, then you won't have the instructor say, your room is smelling. So because of that, marks will be taken away from you. Secondly, they talked about the lights. What happened?
The light, we didn't really off the light because we felt they needed heat because the weather is kind of cold and the charcoal is not on, it's off, so we decided to leave the lights on. Then again, about the window, that's why we didn't open the window. We left just little ventilation for them, not for them not to catch cold.
And owing to the fact that the time was limited, we forgot to turn off the light. Like, we're just trying to put every other thing in place. We forgot the most important thing, the light.
Today is the first day that we've been assessed in the area of teamwork. What it means is that you failed again in the area of teamwork. And that will cost you some mark. You're dealing with life. You have to be proactive. You had 1 week of training lecture. And the things that you are failing are things that are not new to you. Things that you should not make mistakes. They're not beyond your level of understanding or your training at this point, and you're failing. Now, who was responsible for what assignment among the three of you?
Okay, myself, I went in to go and myself and we went in to go and bring out the drinkers. Then she started washing the drinkers while I start packing the remaining feed inside the feeding trough. We packed everything together. I packed everything together and I tried to scrape out the droppings that were inside it, and I passed it. I went to throw that away. Then after scraping that one, I passed it to her and she went to throw it away. She also went to bring water and they started washing the drinkers. So I started doing other things inside. And
that's not a teamwork. That wasn't a teamwork. You cannot do one thing and pass it to another pass. There's no teamwork.
The work was...
They were washing the drinkers together and I was busy doing something else inside, like I was bringing the many feeds together.
First of all, we fetched the disinfectant water together, I and Esther, while she went to bring the slippers from the bath. Then when we got together again, we went inside, brought out the drinkers. While me and Esther were bringing out the drinkers, she was fetching the water for washing the drinkers. After that, she brought the water. Together we washed the drinkers outside whilst Esther was gathering the remnants feed from inside. After that, we got our water, put them into different buckets. I would pass to Itesi would pass to Esther. That's how we took everything inside. Then I measured the feed. I passed it to Itesi. She gave it to Esther, and Esther distributed it into the various feeders. Yes, that's how we did.
So if you did all this, why did you not remember certain things to do, like opening ventilation and all of that?
Because of the timing, probably our minds were off it. We're just focused on the feeding and the drinking. We forgot ventilation.
And we were trying not to be scored wrong about that, because when we came, the room wasn't really as warm as it's supposed to be. Then the heat source was off. Then we thought of maybe there was no need for, and I don't think maybe we are allowed to ask questions in that process. Yeah. So we just decided to leave it like that so the beds can get more heat.
Since the weather is a little bit cold.
If the weather is cold, you should have lifted up your heat source today.
We were instructed not to. There's no heat source today.
So it means that the weather was warm. Is that not what it means?
Yeah, it means that the weather was warm, but we thought that it was not, like if the light was on, would have made them to be more comfortable.
Did you meet up your time?
Yes, we did.
Before your stopping time?
Yes, we did. We were done.
Is there anything that you think that would be a barrier to you meeting up with your time in case there's the next time?
Okay. Firstly is the scale and the feed. Maybe well, as in each group should have a bag of, we already know the kg at which we are feeding each breeding room. Maybe we should have a bag of feed and the scale. I don't know if there's a way the scale can be given room by room. Then secondly is the broom aspect, because we're looking for broom. If we can be given broom, let us put it at our window side. Let's know that when we're done, we're just going to take the broom, then we'll sweep, not waiting for this person to finish before another person takes the broom.
Would that cause from the instructors or assessment part? Do you think it will bring impartiality in the marks that could be scored to you guys?
I feel like it will bring impartiality.
That is all.
Yeah.
Go. Group C.
Okay.
Sir.
You did not put off the lights. Do you also have light issues?
Yes.
What did your instructor say about that?
He told us that we didn't put off the lights, which is wrong. But I know most of the times when we do come here, they do tell us not to put off the light because of the heat. So we were surprised today when he said we were wrong about it. Most of the times when we do come here, the light is always on. And now since there is no cool, we have to put on the lights in order for them to be warm.
Group C, you spilled water in your breeding pen.
Yes.
Yes.
How did that happen?
I didn't really take notes. It was when he asked me to go back again. That was when I went back. So I found out that it was a mistake from our side. Maybe it's as a result of the rush, then she mistakenly spilled up the water on the wool shavings. It wasn't deliberately anyway.
How did it happen?
It was a rush. As we were rushing and the chicks, they comes around while trying to avoid the chicks in order not to match them. Understand? Mistakenly, the leg kicked on the drinkers, so the water spilled.
That will cost you. All of you. It will cost you. It's going to cost your group because you were well trained, you were told, you have been cautioned, you've been told how to be careful in everything you're doing because you're dealing with life. You're not dealing with inanimate objects that you can play around with. Cautiousness, you have to be cautious. So because of that negligence, whether it's a mistake or it's by chance or whatever, it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you mark.
I was the one putting the feeders, then she was the one splitting the water for the drinkers.
I was the one that carried it inside and put it down.
You're the one that carried the feeder inside?
Yes.
Not the water?
The drinkers.
The drinkers?
Yes.
So you took the drinkers inside?
Yes, sir.
Were you the one that placed it on the floor for the birds?
Yes, I placed it on the floor.
So you took the drinkers inside, placed them on the floor, and then you did what inside?
No, I was going, she was placing, I was placing too.
Both of you were placing?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You were responsible for the feeders?
Yes.
Who placed them inside? You?
Yes.
Who were responsible for fetching water?
I.
Now, can you tell me, among three of you, what was your personal assessment as it concerns your teamwork?
I think we all worked as team, but the only thing was that water that we poured on the floor. That's what I feel we did wrong in that aspect, and because we were rushing. And secondly, we are also dealing with livestock, so we have to be very careful so that we wouldn't match any of those things. So we were careful enough not to do that. As a result of being careful, we poured water on the wool shavings. So it was a mistake.
Mistake that cost, because your other team did not pour water. They had the same time with you and they did not pour water, they were also trying to be as careful as you are and they still did not pour water. You pour water, it is an act of negligence,
Okay.
not a mistake. You are not conscious of yourself and what you're doing. So mistakes are not tolerated. Mistakes cost a lot.
Please, sir. Sorry. Mistakes are always happened. In order we are trying to meet up the time they gave it was shortly. It's not as if we did it deliberately. No, no one would like to harm the chicks. No. It is a mistake. It occurs in anywhere. Please.
Are you also aware that you were rated the slowest team?
No, sir.
I didn't see that as slow. I didn't see that as slow, but maybe since it's what you observed as slow, I can't say anything about that. To me, I see it as being careful. I see it as being careful. I even almost lost my, as in I didn't even remember that I was dealing with livestock until when I got into the house. Like I almost even matched something. I just like that I was being careful. So I didn't really see it as slow to me.
Sir, please. When you stay slow, when others finish, as in feeding their birds and the drinkers, we finish the same time. It was just to tidy up the outside. That is what delayed us.
Why was that delayed?
Because
yes,
there's
because
no enough,
they will
enough
always
broom
go
to sweep.
first before they come to go
Were you
sleep.
the last group that swept, that cleaned up?
Yes.
Were you the last group
Yes.
that cleaned up?
Yes.
Yes, to sweep.
To
Yes.
sweep?
Yes.
You were the last group?
Yes, that's group C.
What do you think that, that would be in terms of judgment and assessment? If you are judged and assessed poor in that regard, do you think it is a problem from the management
Yes.
or it's your own problem?
It's not our own problem at all.
It's a problem from the management?
Yes, sir.
So we are impartial?
Not really.
No, sir.
Are you sure we're not impartial?
Not really, because we need all the
That's okay.
equipment.
That's okay. You got your mark. That's it. That's it.